Hello and welcome to this video. In the first video about my pannier rack for my motorcycle, I've shown you how to build the main frame that will be holding the panniers in place. As this step is actually similar for all types of bikes, I went a little bit more into detail on this. In this video I will show you how I attached the frames to my bike, building the actual pannier rack. This on the other hand is much more individual to each bike, so I won't be going as much into detail as I did in the previous video. But I want to give you a rough idea on how it could be done, but please note that you will need to fit your design to your specific vehicle. Here you can see my motorcycle. This is a 1999 Hyosung GF125. It's a one-cylinder, 14.5 horsepower, 5-speed transmission motorcycle, and it previously had the small luggage rack attached to the back of the bike, which was used as a basis for my rack. First, I disconnected the battery. This is a safety precaution as the rack will be welded in place on the motorcycle. I also decided to disconnect the CDI module as the high frequency start of my TIG welder is actually capable of destroying all sorts of microelectronics, so it's highly recommended to disconnect all of the sensitive electronics on the motorcycle. Okay, so the main idea is to put the frame somewhere here. Like this-ish. I don't really know. The problem is I don't want to move my indicators because moving the indicators in Germany, I don't really know. This might be legal most of the time. Anything that is fun or just sounds a teeny tiny bit illegal actually is illegal in Germany, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely have to pull it a little bit up, and that means that the rack itself will be flush with this seat. But I need to keep the distance, otherwise my bag will burst off into flames, and I don't want to do that. First of all, I cut a piece of flat stock and used the file to put a radius on the end. This was then tacked and welded to one of the frames. The position was just measured by eye, and this will be the reference point for all other connections later on and can be adjusted. Another piece of flat stock was then cut and drilled, then tacked to the existing luggage rack. After a first test fitting, an identical piece of flat stock was welded to the other frame, using this adjustable transfer angle tool to make sure that it matches in orientation and position. On the bike, the second bracket was welded to the luggage rack and small corrections were made in order to make both frames symmetrical. To support the lower side of the frames, a piece of pipe was crushed in the vise in order to be secured to the passenger's foot peg on one end, and the other end was going to be welded to the luggage frame. The passenger's foot peg in this case will be useless anyway, but on bigger bikes this may be different, so keep that in mind when choosing your design to adjust this to your needs. The frame was adjusted to the desired position and the lower pipe was tacked to the frame. Then I took the frame over to the workbench and welded it all up to create a high quality and strong weld joint. When finishing the welds, keep in mind to drill a small hole for ventilation somewhere to prevent any pressure from building up in the pipes. As the pannier rack is now pretty much fixed in its position, it was easy to weld in a third support point for the frame. This is necessary because otherwise the existing points may act as pivot points and any load may distort the whole rack. Again, 2 brackets with an 8.5mm hole were tacked onto the small luggage rack in the back, held in place by magnets. I then took off the whole luggage rack of the motorcycle and took it over to the workbench in order to weld in the brackets permanently. This is what the visible side looks like, and I'm more than happy with that. So no holes, no burn throughs, no spots. This is with pulse 100 amps, and this is no pulse, also 100 amps, and I really like the pulse because it gives you this consistency. The shit on top of the surface is just caused by the chromium burning down. Yeah, so that one's done. Back on the motorcycle, I took 2 identical pieces of pipe, crushed and drilled one end, and used a file to fit the other side to the frame. This once again was tacked into place and was finally welded over on the workbench. I also painted this chrome thing because, as you've seen, it was already pretty rusty. Almost killed myself with a hook here. Okay. So this is just all of the old rack. This is the connection point that I welded in first, and the first point where we started building the rack. That's the second point. It's going from here to here. So this side of the frame is supported, this side of the frame is supported, and last but not least, this side of the frame is supported. So we got 3 points of contact. So the main idea behind this one is that this corner is supported, and if the bike falls over and either this bends in or this bends in, it's supported and it doesn't bend like way too much. Yeah, I'm super happy with that. Yeah, the paint job was some kind of a last minute thing. If I would have had more time, I would definitely gone the extra step of getting it professionally sandblasted and maybe even painted or powder coated. I think powder coating is a good application for this, although I'm always the person that likes to you know, just touch up some rusty spots or something like that, which is possible with painting but not so possible with powder coating. But that's your personal decision. So far I think it looks quite good. I'm gonna give you an overall view when I finally get it out of here and put the panniers on.